Good afternoon, and welcome to this special edition of Real Estate Talk with Lisa. For those of you that normally tune in to see us on Thursdays, we had a little challenge yesterday. You know, our technology can sometimes get away from us, and so we wanted to make sure that you saw this episode. So here we are today. So we want to thank you for tuning in. I would like to introduce myself. My name is Lisa Jeffery. I'm your host. I'm a realtor here in the DMV, in Greenbelt, out of the Fairfax Realty office there. My broker is Rodney Bennett. And my lovely co-host today is Miss Reba Burris Barnes. She's our team member. She is our publicist. She is the CEO of Reba Associates International. Welcome to the show today, Reba.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So we're excited about what we're coming here to talk to you about today. We're doing a follow-up piece on what is known as Industry Day. Our last regular episode, we announced the event and spent a good amount of time discussing it.
Yes, we did.
So now we told you we'd come back with a follow-up piece, and here we are today with that. So Ruby, you want to share with them a little bit about what Industry Day is?
Industry Day is a program presented at Francis L. Cardozo Education Campus. This is their 9th year to have their annual Industry Day agenda. Their program is the same as a career day. However, the platforms are for professionals to share with students various roadmaps to develop skills and explore opportunities available in the industries of transportation, aviation, construction, engineering, and technology. During the day, the students have the opportunity to talk to the panelists about their various backgrounds in technology and the aviation and ask questions during the morning sessions. At lunchtime, they have a guest speaker, and this year was the wonderful Ambassador Suzanne Johnson Cook.
Yes.
She did a marvelous job at lunchtime sharing her personal background about her own son.
That's right.
Who went to school to become a doctor. And while discussing her son, she put on the doctor's coat and stethoscope. So the children that were there could be inspired not only by the early morning speakers, but also the afternoon speaker when the ambassador shared her own experience with her own son.
That's right. That's right.
Yes, I really enjoyed being there again this year.
Yes, yes. And you know what, just to add to what we were saying, at the end of her keynote speech,
Yes.
she had all of the youth standing up, and they were just saying how they were going to make us proud. And I'm telling you, in that moment, they made us proud.
Yes.
I mean, you had some that were obviously in like ROTC. They had their uniforms
Yes, the
on.
cadets.
But I mean, as she was speaking, I was just looking around the room. All their eyes were just focused up front, and she had a Q&A session. And one young man just wanted to know ask a question about some of the challenges in getting into those types of fields, and what she might recommend. But we met several people in different industries that were there, that were part of the panels, and they were enthusiastic to be there. One gentleman says he's come every year to the event, and there was a gentleman there who is the owner of a jet company.
Yes.
That leases jets here in our area.
Yes, Mr. Robertson, Charles Robertson.
Charles Robertson. And he was featured in Forbes magazine.
Not Forbes recently, but was Washington Business Journal.
Washington Business Journal. Okay.
Yeah, back in I think June of this past year.
Wow.
And the thing is that his company is called Principal
Jets. Yes.
LLC.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, I'm learning how to add the different acronyms.
And I sat next to him, and he was just so excited to be there and just enjoying the atmosphere and just feeling like it was a worthwhile event for him to attend. One of there were two hosts, D-Dot.
Yes.
And NABWIC. NABWIC's acronym is for the National Association of Black Women in Construction.
Yes.
I did not know prior to the event that there was such an organization, but I learned, and I was delighted to see what they are doing. I'd shared before that, I had opportunities to be an engineer when I graduated from college. But at that time, this was in the 80s. Yes, we had electricity and all that when I graduated from high school. But hush, Reba. But I did not have anybody that had took on the role that NAWIC does in the community. There was no one to come back and to show me, hey, you could have a career as an engineer. There are avenues for you to express yourself, to impact your community, which is what my thought process was then, but I did not know that this was available to me. So I didn't pursue it then. And so I really applaud it because I could have used this kind of input then.
Well, when we were children in Virginia, we weren't given this same kind of industry examples. They would tell minority students, you can become a cook. They didn't say chef. They said cook. So my thing is that now we have wonderful women and men sharing their companies. And
Yes.
to name a few of them, Lisa,
Yes.
we saw our own good friend Thurman Jones.
Yes, Patriots Technology Training
That's
Center.
right. And his programs go from early elementary school, 5th grade level, up to high school level.
Yes.
And Thurman now is everywhere with his technology programs for STEM.
Yes.
And then we also have from UDC, the young lady name is Ann Lankford.
Yes, I remember meeting her.
Yes, wonderful young lady there. And her program helps the students with their programming and engineering as well.
Excellent.
We had folks from GSA. I'm sorry, Department of Transportation, DDOT, the co-sponsor.
Yes.
And we also had a young lady there named Marta Ali, and her company is called Marta Ali Studios.
Oh, folks, when someone gives you a business card that's made out of wood with the name burnt into it,
Yes.
now that's something different. But just looking at her flyer, and I've had occasion to go back and take a look at her website after meeting her. The work is phenomenal. They do everything from machining, 3D,
construction work.
Yes, metalworking, design. So it's kind of like a one-stop shop from what I gathered. That
And
whatever your-
architectural, too.
Yes, exactly. Whatever your projects you bring, it's not that you have to go outside of what they provide.
Right.
And so she's very up and coming young lady with her company. And so it was just good to see her, even with a young company, feeling the need to go back and look for talent, because that's the thing that a lot of the industries are facing. I did some background work in preparation for this particular show, and looking at the information, we have the categories as Reba went over them was engineering, aviation, construction, technology, and transportation. And one of the things that was good to see was how those industries work together. And that was one thing that made it attractive for our show, because when we're talking about real estate talk with Lisa, we're talking about community development. And so in that, we need all of these types of industries to be alive and vibrant with young talent to keep those things moving forward. Now, I think we have our first guest on the line. We have several for you today. So hold on for me one moment. This should be Miss Kimley Naylor, and she is the newly elected president of NAWIC. She is the national president. Hold for us one moment while we bring her on the line. Good afternoon. Do I have the pleasure of speaking with Miss Naylor?
That you do. This is Kimberly Naylor from Detroit.
Yes, indeed. Detroit's in the house. All right now.
We are. Yes, we are.
I just introduced the audience to you by name and position in the organization, but what I had not told them yet is that Kim has her own company. So she's not only a president, she's also a user of the product, so to speak. So she has her own company. She's a license builder, and her company is called Nail Right. And can you share with our audience, Kim, the motto of your company?
Yes, our mantra is building structures and building lives. And Millwright Construction started as a result of some of my family members being in the trade with drywall finishing, and we've incorporated into a business so that we can empower others economically and help others achieve success.
And what I'm hearing from you is, number one, in your mantra, there's a degree of care for the client. in terms of you know that you're not only there to build a structure, but in building that structure, you're adding to their lives. That's the first thing I heard.
Absolutely. We want our customers to enjoy the experience of what our construction work produces. And we actually give them a space that they can be proud of their investment and create that haven for their homes if it's in a residential market or if it's in a commercial setting. It's a part of that iconic experience of rebuilding cities and revitalizing experiences like here in Detroit where we have so much going on with new arenas and stadiums.
Yes.
Hey, everyone knows that you played a part in making something bigger.
Excellent. And the other thing that I heard you say was that there's a family business aspect to that in terms of entrepreneurial spirit behind the start of your company. Did I hear that correctly?
You did hear that correctly. So actually what happened, like I said, my family was in the trades. My father did a lot of things with his hand, and we were a family of 10, and they
Wow.
two-family home. And he, with his own hands, converted that into a single-family residence. So we had access without exiting the property to go to the second level, converted kitchens to bedrooms, and we had a home that was now big enough to raise his family. So I always saw some of the work going on. 2 years later, my brother started into the drywall finishing. He came back from Minnesota where he lived for many years, taught some of my siblings, and so then we had sisters and brothers and in-laws who knew how to do the trade, and we decided it's time to go into business. So I took my business acumen from my career of 20 years as an analyst and strategist, and we've been pushing forward ever since.
Oh, that is fantastic. And that is so important because one of the statistics I was looking at, it was a construction company that was saying how with some of the challenges that are being faced in construction, a lot of the wood shops, the hands-on trades training that used to take place in high schools is being phased out, and so now you have a lot of labor in the workforce that's retiring. Some when the housing crisis happened, a lot of people were laid off and they didn't come back. And so I know from the real estate standpoint, people are looking for homes and there's a shortage, but also when you're looking at new construction, there's a shortage of labor and then skilled labor where you may have to match some of those STEM skills with some of the newer equipment and the newer ways of processing. How is NABWIC's work in the schools geared to try to help bridge that gap?
You know, that's one of the reasons why we host and sponsor the TransSTEM Academy Industry Day in D.C. Because one of the legs of our mission, our three-legged stool is that we want to make sure we're reaching back for the next generation.
Yes.
And so not only do we want to empower women to run business and companies in this industry, but we reach back to the next generation so young children see the process and the pathway to follow and build a career and a business inside of the construction industry. And we believe that is necessary because it's one of our core foundations, that we definitely have the building blocks of the education and the entrepreneurial and the professional experience so our youth can see what's possible in this industry.
When you mentioned the youth, Kim Lee, do you have the programs for Industry Day for lower level grades as well, or only for the high school level?
Currently, it's pretty much just in the high school levels, but in some of our local areas, many are reaching out to college students to help them in their career paths. We actually have a student chapter of NABWIC so that students can be on board, potentially do interns with some of the members in their businesses. So we start early, but some of the other areas target on their local areas, some of the younger schools. I've here in Detroit, we were in some junior high schools showing them how the trades works. It's the youngest 7th and 8th graders. A lot of it is in the high schools because they're closer to making decisions, and we want to help them understand somebody is not going to do the career path through a college. So we want them to know they can build a career path through the trades and be just as successful financially, economically, as if they have the degree programs. Now, that does not elude the fact that there are construction degree programs, and we definitely encourage those as well. The construction management, the civil engineering. We definitely want them to pursue that as well. But if that's not your genre, we got something for you still.
Yes, because I remember Brian Washington, who's part of your organization as well. He and I had a chance to have a conversation, and he was saying how he had, started out with a drafting table, at an early age, and he looked at, engineering, but he saw himself, and he was in a position where he was kind of receiving instructions on his engineering from a different position within the company. And it was only after he had had a conversation with people there that they said, hey, you could do that job too. You don't have to stay here. You have the same skill set that it takes to sit in that office and be the person delegating the work, and encouraged him then to pursue that opportunity. And I think sometimes it just takes someone to be able to push us and give us, help us. Reba mentioned yesterday when we were talking about writing the vision and making it plain,
Yes.
From a back of 2-2. And sometimes we just need somebody to help us, put the vision to paper, put something concrete so that we can touch it and grasp it and see what's available.
And that is so true. One of my other professions is I am a personal life coach, and I was so setting to help people see the vision to take their lives to that vision, to connect the dots and create the pathways so they can have that transformation. So that is so true. As Quentin said, he was already doing the draft, and someone just gave him another rung that he could climb to pursue more in the spirit of excellence he was already achieving. They just helped him navigate further. And that's what I love about the organization of NABWIC. You're in the company of some dynamic women, and they can always help you raise the bar and see parts of the business that you may not have seen. And that is what's so beautiful about this, because not only are we women in the industry, many of us are business owners. And as a business owners, you want to grow.
That's
and
right.
you can look to your resources of the sisterhood inside this industry and our association and find resources from Tampa area, because someone's there doing something you could pursue and add to your business, or the Atlanta area. So we have chapters abroad that we can reach out and use that same mentoring experience in our businesses.
We talked
And
yesterday.
that's one of the values of our membership that we have. There's just such a range of service here.
Well,
Yes,
yesterday
indeed.
you mentioned your various chapters. You mentioned Detroit, Michigan, New York City, and Atlanta, and Florida.
Absolutely. We have several chapters in the state of Florida alone. There's the Northwest, the Northeast, Central Florida. We have South Florida. And then, of course, we have Atlanta, Detroit that's emerging, New York emerging with a new group of businesswomen. And many women are now starting to reach out to the organization and asking, how do we start chapters in our area?
That's right.
Because for a lot of time, women, specifically black women in the trades, we've been working alone.
Yes.
And it's just so refreshing when we go to an outreach program and we come together as women and say, oh, wow, I've been the only black woman for so long. It's so refreshing.
See?
There's other black women here. And that is empowering to see women of color in this industry. Another reason why we go into the school, so that our children expect to see people of color in this very lucrative industry.
When you mentioned that you're a business owner and a business coach, a life coach, that's wonderful for women that are coming into your organization, because you can coach them along to not work alone and to delegate responsibly. Always say you don't buy it back, because people become more creative when they're working together.
That is so true. We definitely talk about the spirit of collaboration and working our programs together in unison. We may not work on the same contracts, but I will help you get your contract prepared. And that's one of the things we offer. What do you need to do to make your bid proposal look very appealing for acceptance? What do you need to be certified so you become a value to a JV partnership, because you can help them meet some of those minority requirements? So we want people to have their business together and tight. We actually are bringing the spirit of excellence to our work and inside this organization, so that we can be that one-stop shop when people look for some of the services that are needed. Because we serve a lot of industries. Like we were at the school, with transportation and the aeronautics, but not only are we in the aerospace, we have the aircraft and vehicle training, do maintenance. We have the biotechnology and the sciences, like I say, the construction and the environmental things that's needed before the road work begins. We have the engineering and the specialties around that. We have the paint, the drywall space, like myself, the logistics with transportation.
That's right.
Just the whole gamut of what the construction industry bears, and encouraging more people to look at this industry.
Exactly.
Everything happens with our roads, our bridges, our structures. Can't get around it.
That's right. That's right. And when we hear about making America great again, and we're talking about the infrastructure of America and the roads and the bridges and what's going on with those in terms of deterioration and what needs to be replaced, we have to have workers to be able to do that. Okay, we have to have workers that need to be able to do that. They have the training, they have the skill level. Even for those that have done manufacturing before, there's a new skill level that's needed. If you're doing new aircraft, you have to be able to match the material handling skills with the new computer programs, the robotics and things that they're using now to create. So I want to thank you on behalf of myself and Reba,
Thank you.
in terms of Real Estate Talk with Lisa, for sharing just the vision for your organization. We will look to support you now and in the future when you guys are having events, because what you're doing is needed. We represent community development, and we are just enthusiastic about the talent that is in our communities. And we just need to use keys to unlock that. No longer looking out for someone to come in to give us, although there are things that are needed, but there is so much within us that we have to give to the world and to give to our communities. And we just need to have people that can come in and help us channel that, channel our youth, channel even our seniors and our older people that have skills that may need retraining, that still may want to be involved in the trades, having some place to go.
Well, I want to suggest to Kimley that for our next discussion, we put a pin in infrastructure.
Okay.
For our next discussion. My joy for Lisa is doing her research with her, and so my joy to bring you to NABWIC and NABWIC to you. But infrastructure impacts all of us.
Yes.
And even with Hawaii right now, Miss Kimley, work it out.
That's for sure.
Yes, indeed.
So new infrastructure.
And Puerto
There's
Rico.
a wealth transfer opportunity, and we're definitely making sure from the NABWIC standpoint that we're going to engage as many individuals as possible to be aware of this transition and this rebuilding of America's infrastructure.
Yes, ma'am. Well, look, you have a wonderful afternoon. Thank you again for joining us here. We will
if I can just do a plug for
Yes,
NABWIC,
please
make
do.
sure people can find us.
Yes, indeed. I'm
Please
sorry I'm being
visit our
remiss.
website at nabwic.org. That's NABWIC for National Association of Black Women in Construction.
Yes.
And if you're interested in membership to join us, please go to send an email to membership@nabwic.org. That's membership@nabwic.org, and we can send you a list of some of those great benefits you'll have for being a part of our community and helping us transfer this wealth into our communities through construction. Thank you, ladies, for having me today. I really
thank
appreciate
you.
spending this time. It was a pleasure meeting you there in D.C. last Friday.
It was
Yes,
wonderful to meet
ma'am.
you
It's
too.
going to be the beginning of some great things.
Yes.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Have a great day and happy Mother's Day.
Thank you, ladies.
All righty. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Good afternoon. Would this be Miss Nicole Allen? Hello?
Hi, it's Nicole.
It is. Thank you. Look, I had greeted you, but then I was on the wrong line, so I apologize, Nicole. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Good, good. For my audience, I am on the phone with Miss Nicole Allen. She is the president of operations at Allen Norris Permitting and Inspections, and the motto on the card is permits when you need them, on time, on budget, and code compliant. So all of that's important. If any of my audience members are builders or having a home built, or any of the trades, you know that the big deal is getting that permit, and making sure that there's no issues with your codes. Now, Nicole, we just finished speaking with the national president of NAWIC, Miss Kimberly Naylor, and I met you both, Reba and I, at Industry Day. Can you tell our audience your position in NAWIC?
Sure. I am the newly elected chapter president for the National Capital Region of NAPWIC.
Yay! Congratulations.
Yeah.
So, we just had finished up talking about just the goal of NABWIC and the outreach that's being done, throughout the country and the chapters that you have now. And of course, you're going to be expanding, and how vital those connections are, both to the youth and also within the trades, with women in the trades. Can you share with us how you got started in your business?
Sure. Well, I am a transplant from a different areas, different sectors.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
actually came out of the public health field. I spent probably 16 to 17 years in that space, and just really looking at the impact of health on how we live, what we eat, how we live in this environment. And I became fascinated after having a really good experience in buying my house. Became fascinated in our housing situation and how that affects public health, laws and procedures and just overall well-being. So, from that, I ventured on into NABWIC. Much like many people, I just happened to end up being invited to a networking event. And that's when I really found a really awesome group of people who are masters in their field, who are in such diverse and niche areas of construction that I just became excited and, energized to become a member of the organization.
Excellent. And it's interesting, the diversity of backgrounds. Kimberly had shared some of her background, the life coaching, the analytical part of her earlier career, but also the foundation that she had at home within the trades. And yet here you are coming from a different background, but then taking what you know, and when you're looking at the industry that you're in terms of permitting and codes, of course that would still have value for you, because ultimately you want the homes that you are getting those permits and codes for to be up to code, so that they are safe places, healthy places for people to live.
Exactly. And one of the mottos of building codes is really to increase the quality of life and the quality of health. And not just to make safe buildings, but also to create a healthy environment where people spend the majority of their time.
That's true. And, people have such concerns about, making sure it's okay. Because I see it after it's constructed, when I'm out with my client, with the home inspector, and that's one of the things is you never want to hear the home inspector say, "Oh, well, the electrical's not up to code. A fire could start, or this is not up to code." So, what your organization, what your company does, provides a very important and necessary part of the real estate industry and the construction industry overall. Now. As part of the National Capital Area chapter of NABWIC, what has been what are your goals, I say, for the upcoming year as the new president? Are there particular things that you're looking to strengthen or you're looking to move forward in a more aggressive way going into this year?
Mm-hmm. Yes. So one of my top priorities in every year is just to increase our membership. And not just increase for the sake of numbers. We're looking to help women who are in these diverse construction and construction-related fields to bring them together as a resource. Yes. Our goal overall for the national organization is to be a force for these billions of dollars of contracting opportunities that are all around the country.
Yes.
We're looking to also get our members ready to be able to go after some of these large contracts. So one initiative that we personally have here in the National Capital Region is to do what we call get you procurement ready.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yes, and so we're actively bringing in industry leaders, bringing in government officials, business specialists to help members become certified. With any certification that you can imagine, we're really working to make sure that that's a great resource for our small business owners. Because oftentimes, I work heavy in the private sector, but oftentimes where we can really make an impact is in the public sector. And in order to really get into that space, we need to be certified. Another initiative that we're going after this year is to get our members access to capital. We hear from the federal space, from the private sector space. It's one of the most damaging areas for small businesses is to not have capital. And so we have started an initiative that not only helps our members get access to capital, but also prepares them to understand what business capital is and what business credit is.
Yes.
So those are two of our essential initiatives that we're working on, in addition to really starting in the high school, trying to get students reacclimated to fields in the construction and construction-related services field.
That is excellent. That is excellent because while you were speaking, it just brought to mind, there was a time when I attended more heavily small business meetings and things like that, or when there were procurement opportunities, say maybe something like the National Harbor or things like that, or maybe even on a slightly smaller scale, but still a sizable contract. And I remember sitting and watching a panel of large builders, and one of the things that they were saying was, yes, there are minority initiatives, and of course, and when you're looking at NABWIC, that's an organization that is niches for black women in construction. So yes, they had minorities set-asides, they had minority opportunities, but finding minority companies that were fully qualified, fully certified to be able to take advantage of those opportunities was a challenge. And then on the other side, you had minority firms that would say, okay, they say they have work for us, but then when we go, there's no work. But they didn't have the bridge piece to connect them and prepare them for the opportunities that they so desperately needed. So when you named those two initiatives that you have in terms of certification and in terms of capital, because many of our smaller trade businesses are started just by, hey, I got a hammer, I got some skills here, I'm going to go ahead and get my LLC, I might get one certification, I might be a master electrician, but I haven't gotten certified, say, as a minority business. I haven't registered with this organization that's providing works, but you have to be registered with the organization to submit a bid. So that is excellent in terms of your focus, because those are things that, not even being in that industry, but just being a small business and sitting in some of those meetings, have seen as a challenge for that group.
But one thing for sure, people have learned to have collaborations. So am I right with that, Nicole, that your company and your organization can help with collaborations
and
for the larger
that's
companies.
That's also a big goal of our organization, is to provide that collaborative opportunity for there to be teaming agreements, for there partnerships, and opportunities well outside of your normal jurisdictions. I'm locally based here in Washington, D.C. I'm looking at opportunities in Detroit, Michigan because of the chapter. The chapter has good representation there, and there are several firms, several members of our organization who are already doing contracts in that area who would be more apt to do business with members as opposed to non-members. So, I mean, the reach is far greater than what you can imagine. And that's what we call leveraging. Leveraging the skill set, the capabilities, the certification, the experience, the knowledge of all of our members. I mean, we're roughly, I think, 16, 17 chapters right now, and we're growing. And so your opportunities can be potentially endless.
That is fantastic. And I think, just to see us move from a competitive mindset
to a
collaborative mindset now prepares us to be on the same playing field as our competitors. As our competitors, and to be prepared for global work. If we can't collaborate nationally, it's going to be a challenge to compete on a global scale, and the world is getting smaller. And it's okay to compete, if you're going up and you're competing on a bid, but it doesn't have to be such a divisive piece when you are competing.
Exactly.
When we talk,
and so that's really one of the reasons why this organization was founded. There are many organizations out there who are there just to be a placeholder for membership and just for affiliation. But we like to consider ourselves not only a group of women, but a group of African American women.
Yes.
One of the smallest represented demographics who are obtaining these federal contracts. And so we're really hoping to really provide this kind of resource and opportunities for members throughout the district.
Excellent. Well, I want to thank you for joining us today. Is there a website or a phone number for your chapter here locally, for those that are local that want to become involved?
And a member?
Yes, and become a member.
Yeah, sure. Well, I do want to tell you there's a great networking opportunity that the chapter is hosting this upcoming Tuesday, May 15th. It's going to be at the African American Civil War Museum. And there's an Eventbrite link out. So if you go to Eventbrite, you can just type in the National Association of Black Women in Construction. That event is free and it's open to the public. If you have an interest in construction, or if you're a small business who have construction-related services, you're more than welcome to join us. It's going to be between 5 and 8 p.m. And so that's a great time to come out to ask questions, to network with some of our partners, some of our members, and just get to know a little bit about the organization. And other than that, you can always check us out on social media. It's NABWIC. We're on LinkedIn, Facebook, all the prominent social media sites, as well as our website, which is www.nabwic.org.
Excellent. And we will also post a link for your event on our Facebook page. We'll share that link there so that people can go and see it. We thank you again, Reba and I. And we look forward to working with you again in the future and hosting the organization to talk about upcoming events. Have a wonderful, wonderful afternoon, Nicole.
Thanks so much. You do as well.
Thanks for calling in.
Bye.
Thank you.
Right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Good afternoon. afternoon, Miss Jones.
Good afternoon, Miss Jeffery. How are you today?
I'm doing wonderful. I want to thank you for your patience. And for my audience, I just want to let you know the young lady that we have on the phone now is Miss Sheila Jones. She is a consultant with the Business Institute of Washington. She is also a NABWIC member, and she was on the committee to put together Industry Day. Am I correct with that?
Program chair.
Yes, I did chair the planning committee.
She is the program chair, ladies and gentlemen. You have to meet her, though. She is delightful, just focused, though. When I talked to her, I could hear and see just the passion for what she does, for excellence, and for making it happen. So I didn't read you wrong, did I?
I was going to say thank you for that very kind and glowing introduction.
And so true.
Yes. I'm here with your colleague of many years, and she'll pinch me if I'm not telling the truth. So.
I see. Hi, Miss Barnes. How are you today?
I'm fine. How are you?
I am doing just fine. Very, very pleased to be on, and I am. Again, I wanted to thank you, Reba, for the excellent job that you did for an event as our publicist. And Lisa, I wanted to thank you so much for coming to our event as a guest.
Oh, the pleasure was all mine, I tell you. To see the young people, to hear the ambassador speak, what a great selection of a keynote speaker for the event. To see the distinguished panelists that you had from all of the different industries. I really enjoyed myself. I was happy to be included. And as you know, setting up for the show today, we've spoken with Ms. Kimberly Naylor, who is the newly elected national president of NABWIC, and we just spoke with also Miss Nicole Allen,
yes,
who is the newly elected president of the National Capital Area chapter, which serves our area. And I'm telling you, the conversation has just been inspiring, and the type of conversation that should, for our listeners, really encourage you, if you're in a trade or want to be in a trade, to move in the direction of this organization for support, for technical assistance, for networking, and for opportunities that you may not be aware of, but someone in your network may know. And so I just want to thank you for partnering with Reba, for making me aware of the organization, because even though I'm in the real estate industry, I was not aware of the organization. Now you're a consultant with the Business Institute of Washington. Tell me a little bit about that, my dear.
Well, the Business Institute of Washington, it focuses on training.
Yes, ma'am.
And also it is in the process of developing a tool to support re-entering citizens.
Awesome.
And that's still patent pending, so I can't say a lot about that.
Yes.
But you'll hear a lot more about that program through its foundation, My Chance Up.
Okay. All right. Well, that sounds like another show.
Did you say My Chance Up?
Yes, My Chance Up. That's the foundation.
Excellent.
So, Sheila, who do you work with in your organization? Who do you work with?
No, God, you met her. Robin Bill is the CEO.
Oh yes, Miss Bill. We met her at the event. Lovely young lady. Yes, indeed. Now I know you wanted to share some things with us in terms of when you putting together Industry Day. You had some particular targets and benchmarks, some items that you wanted to have accomplished as great outcomes from that. I understand you've been getting good feedback from the event, but can you share with our audience a little bit about what you had in mind for this year's event?
Yes. This is our 9th year for Industry Day at the Trans-STEM Academy Cardozo Education Campus. And we are different in Industry Day in that we use panel sessions with panels to let's say 3 to 4 professionals from government, private industry, the public sector, to engage in a dialogue with students and to share their knowledge and their experience about what they do as an individual and also about career opportunities within that industry. And we focus on 5 industries: aviation, construction, transportation, engineering, and technology. Those are the 5 industries. And each session, we have a facilitator, we have a professional facilitator, and a student monitor. And as we said, we have 3 to 4 professionals that serve on the panels. And also, this gives the students an opportunity. Not only do they ask questions about, obviously careers and how much money can you make and where are the areas, what are the hot areas for career opportunities, but it gives them a chance to talk, to ask questions about internships, shadow days, apprenticeships, incubators, and other STEM programs that are part of the organization of the panels that attend. So that's the intent. Now, how does the panelist benefit? The panelist benefits by, number one, our president, or the national, who is now the CEO, now that we have a new president with the National Association of Black Women in Construction, she always says that individuals do business and collaborate with individuals they know and trust. And I want to add a third to that: respect.
Yes.
So we give ample time throughout the day for the professionals to network with each other. Many of them have been coming over the years, some from the very beginning, so they continue to groom and develop their relationships. And then those who are new to the event gives them the opportunity to begin new relationships. And what this does for these individuals, number one, some of them have come back and said they've gotten speaking engagement.
Yeah, that's true.
It gives them an opportunity to participate in other STEM programs as a panelist, or some of them like judge STEM competitions.
Oh, okay.
We have those who have been asked to maybe participate in a contract, like someone is going after a particular contract, and they're looking at their resume to be a part of the proposal to go after a contract. And then there are opportunities to perhaps be employed, or maybe there's someone in their network that's looking for employment, and now they have all of these new networks that they can reach out to for this particular individual. So those are the benefits for the professionals that come. It's a two-way communication platform. The students benefit and the professionals benefit.
I wanted to ask you, Sheila, I'm sorry.
Does it work? Yes, it works. Let me give you some specifics.
Okay.
That I have learned about as a result of Industry Day 2018.
Okay.
One individual who has a contract is now reaching out to individuals and their networks for 3 positions, well-paid positions on this contract.
All right.
Because the skill sets are within the group that was in that room.
All right.
Another individual that brings 6 busloads of students to the Congressional Black Caucus every year to participate in STEM programs has reached out and has asked several of the individuals to be panelists and to support them in that effort.
It's wonderful.
Yes.
Another individual is in the process on the very leading edge of a new industry, has reached out to one of the participants to support and help him with some patent requirements. So those are just a few, and I could go on. There are 4 or 5 other opportunities that people are telling me that they have been afforded to because of their participation in Industry Day.
Wow. So it sounds like to me that you've had excellent outcomes.
Excellent. Every year it gets better, and it's working. It's like I said, it's a two-way platform, two-way communication platform that we want the students to benefit.
That's right.
And we want the professionals who take time out of their busy schedules to come and support this event to also benefit. And it's working. We have documented proof that it is working.
Excellent, excellent.
So you mentioned that this year is the 9th year. So
this is the 9th year, so next year will be our 10th year, so it's a better year.
That's right.
Spectacular. You can't miss it.
I'm telling you, I'm looking forward. I know we both are, as individuals and definitely on behalf of the show, to support and be present at next year's event. You know, as you continue to get those reports in, we'd love for you to share with us, you know, what is going on. I tell you, opening up something that's really right here in our backyard, that sometimes we don't realize is going on in our community, but it has the potential to impact our community. I know you probably can't tell it from my stunning good looks, but I'm I'm actually on the other side of 30, and so I'm looking to know that I've got people that are coming up that, you know, if I get to a scooter chair, you know, they make sure there's roads for me to get in my scooter chair to my car, and I can get around. That, you know, that they're looking at transportation options. They're looking
and they can read it.
Yes, you know, that they're looking at engineering options. They're looking at construction options. That, you know, that the world that I am not receding from, but, you know, I'm moving on to a different phase in my life, knowing that we have opportunities and efforts in place that can help our young people take their grasp on the world in a responsible manner, in a confident manner, because it's hard to look at the future confidently when you don't know, when you're unsure, and you haven't receive the skills that you need to be able to take advantage of the opportunities and the responsibilities, because we're leaving the youth and the young adults with a lot of responsibilities. You know, when we were speaking to Kim Lee earlier, we brought up the word infrastructure. Reba said we're going to put a pin in it and come back and address some of the infrastructure challenges that face the country and the different efforts that we're doing on the school level and in organizational levels, and then a lot of companies are doing in their levels to address that.
But I'd like to address one thing too.
Yes.
Putting pins in today, aside from the infrastructure, I want to put a pin, Sheila, into next year's event and your sponsorship for the success of that event.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Yes, and I just want the audience to know I was able to attend the Me Too rally and march in Washington. I took my niece. Been working with and observing the students.
Yes.
At the TransSTEM Academy. I just want to assure all of you that we are in good hands. Our future is definitely in good hands.
Excellent. It's good to know that our future looks bright. But what you're doing, and I just would like to share, is that what you're doing is, I was reading from another construction company, not even in our area, not even in our state, and the things that they were talking about collaborating, partnerships with STEM programs on the high school and the college level, and creating training and partnerships, and having industry personnel and people from the different sectors come and talk to the young people to encourage them to look at those trades. They were also championing what you are actually doing. They were doing it in the area where they were, and they were saying that it needed to be a nationwide movement in that area so that we don't find ourselves at a loss. So I do want to thank you so much for calling in and sharing the outcomes, giving us some insight into Industry Day and your objectives for that. We'll be keeping those in mind, especially as we, begin to approach, as we say, that banner year number 10. Was there something you wanted to add before?
I did want to say, as far as the sponsoring for next year,
yes.
How can we reach Sheila and your board members to be able to support by being speakers or making a monetary donation toward the program? How can we reach you for a website or an email address?
Okay. You can reach for NABWIC, you can reach the national president at president@nabwic.org.
All right.
Okay. All right.
And you can reach the Trans-STEM director, Cheryl Rogers.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Cheryl.Rogers at dc.gov.
Excellent. Excellent.
And then you mentioned your company, too, for Business Institute.
You can reach that through my email,
Okay.
sdj520 at msn.com.
All right. Thank you.
Excellent, excellent. Well, again, Sheila, it's just been a joy to have you. And for all of our guests that called in today, we want to thank you for just being a part. We want you to have a wonderful, wonderful afternoon.
Thank you so much, and thank you again for having me on the program.
Thank
Yes,
you, Sheila. It was wonderful.
All right. Have a good evening.
You too.
Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, we are about to wrap up our show. I'm losing my voice, but it's coming back. Thank you, Reba.
I have some Girl Scout things here.
Always be prepared. Thank you so much.
Got it? Mm-hmm. A brief pause for the cause.
Yes. Thank you. Just what I needed. But I hope that you have been encouraged and informed by our guests, by just a window into the NABWIC organization. If you're in the trades, have family in the trades, especially if you have a black woman or aspiring black woman in construction, definitely reach out to the organization. If you're interested in participating with the STEM Academy in any way, certainly take note of the information that we've provided. Now, our next show coming up is going to be on rescue resources.
Yes, it will be.
It's going to be an exciting show because some of us are dealing with some situations in real estate, whether it's trying to find temporary living quarters to meet a need, finding food, navigating foreclosure, or overcoming foreclosure. So we're going to have some resources for you to help rescue you out of that situation, on our next show. Now, if you want to reach us, you can reach us. You're watching us here on the WBGR Wellness Network. Now, you can also watch our show on our Facebook page.
Yes.
That's Real Estate Talk with Lisa. On our YouTube channel, Real Estate Talk with Lisa. You can reach me at 301-542-5168. You can reach Reba for any topics or guest appearances.
And my number is 301-420-0000. And I welcome your emails as well on rebabarnes@aol.com.
So, we'll see you
at the show.
Yes, indeed.
Pretty well today.
Yes, I learned so much about this.